Well, there is a recent trend in haylage with producers baling and wrapping in the same day, and it seems to be becoming more popular. Product support specialist with New Holland Southeast region, Robert Hendrix, now joins us here in the studio to speak further on these trends in haylage. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you taking the time. So, coming from the Southeast, what are the trends taking place?
I'm seeing more and more haylage this year. Haylage, baleage, some folks call it silage, but it's definitely a trend that's on the upward swing, seeing more and more farmers that have put a crop into high moisture bales. It's not really new, it's been around for a while, but traditionally it had been the early spring, winter forage crops, specifically in my area, ryegrass and wheat.
Now, are they cutting the other crops, or are they putting the wrap in high moisture?
Because it's becoming more popular, I'm actually seeing folks now, as we move into summertime, try their luck with doing high moisture hay with orchard grass and fescue.
Oh, wow. That's a change of pace, especially for fescue.
It is. I've actually was on a farm a few weeks ago and met with some farm hands at a farm that said last year they actually cut some soybeans and baled them up green. When they fed them this winter, the pods were still moist and the cows loved it. They called it cow candy. And this year they're planning to try their luck with corn. Once the corn plants begin to develop ears, they're going to cut some of that. Wouldn't say that I recommend that, but it's an experimental thing, but it sounds like it would be dirty hay.
Okay, sounds very interesting. So are they using a conditioning machine in the South, or is it just right behind? How does this work?
It's just right behind, because in the deep South, you don't have a lot of people that use mower conditioners.
Right.
They don't condition a legume type plant that's leafy or stemmy, so they'll just go right behind the mower and try to bale it up. The key is to get to an acceptable moisture level. People are always experimenting or pushing their luck with getting higher. I've heard of 65, even I've heard of 70%. That's awful high for a moisture content to be putting something in a bag. But what they really have to measure is the moisture content. Most folks want to get down somewhere between 40 and 60. So it's not really a time thing, it's a how dry is it thing. And that's going to depend upon the weather, the temperature, the wind, and a lot of weather-related variables.
Several factors coming in.
A lot of factors, yeah.
Okay.
The trick is to get her down to roughly 55 to 65 and go with it.
So, and that's also going to make an impact on as far as how far it is between cut and baling itself, time-wise.
That's right, that's right. I've actually been on some farms down in Mississippi and Tennessee where people have done it. It's what I call all in a day. They've gone into the field early in the morning and cut it. They tedded it right after that to separate the clumps so that it would dry down faster. And then they actually raked it up and baled it late that afternoon. By dark, they were putting the bags on the trucks and hauling them away.
Wow.
A one-day thing. I call it one and done.
Is that something that's becoming a little bit more common? Because I know growing up, that's not something that you heard very often.
It is becoming more common. I want to stress that I'm not here to say everyone should do it. I'm just saying that it's a trend that's moving upward, and it can be risky. People that do it need to understand the science behind it and be sure that they bag it or wrap it properly, or they've really got a recipe for a mess.
That does make sense. All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. Again, Robert Hendrix joining us here in the studio, product support specialist with New Holland in the Southeast region. We appreciate him taking the time to join us. Stay tuned. We've got more Market Day Report coming up in just a moment. That, of course, right here on RFD-TV and on Rural Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 147.